Welcome back to the SS Aqua. There's only this one trainer left to defeat on this trip. And while I battle him, I just want to talk about something that I already mentioned in Victory Road. About, you know, the whole bag fuck thing in Viet Crystal. I suggested that maybe the reason why the word fuck is used is because, you know, you're inserting your item into the bag. And actually, one of you gave me some feedback on that. Apparently, that is the case in Finnish. Like, they've got the same word for both terms. So, that would mean it would be perfectly possible to do so in Vietnamese, even though, no doubt, Finnish and Vietnamese have vastly different roots. But still, it's just to say that it might be possible. And down goes that last trainer. No, I was not going to use Crunch on it from my Pupitar, because I'm not sure it would have killed, and then I'd be exposed to whatever grass move it would have, effectively one-hit KOing it, so that's not a chance I wanted to take. Now, let's just take a look at what the captain has to say. I don't think he's going to give me anything, but I still want to see if he's going to say something interesting. How do you like? She practically skates across the waves. Nope! Nothing interesting, so we're just gonna get out of here, and we're not gonna head out and right back in, even though the opposite trip from Olivine to Vermilion can be done on Monday. I'm gonna do that in a few minutes, but first, there are a few things that I want to take care of here in Johto. You'll notice that I'm doing this early in the afternoon, and this would be the reason why, because I'm going to be collecting some phone numbers. Oh, wait, there are two people over there. I wonder if they say anything interesting. I hope so, because otherwise, what would be the point of making that area in the first place? I managed to come back safely from the journey and take my first steps. Oh, he's hitting on her. I should have imagined. And then when a guy and a girl are facing each other like that in a Pokemon game, you can be certain they're either an item or someone's being hit on. He has a way of exaggerating things. Like the size of his... No. I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, we're gonna be getting a phone number here in Olivine City at the restaurant. Here you can find Jasmine on any day from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. These empty dishes in front of me are not all mine. Just judging by that, yes, they are. But, at least she's eating right, because she definitely looks like she could use a sandwich. Okay, so now we can contact each other anytime. I should be able to battle you against around noon on Wednesday. Sorry. So yeah, they all give you the time window that you need to call them in order to arrange a rematch. So now that that's done, there are two more numbers that I want to get. First one is in Goldenrod. As you might expect, this is Whitney. She's on the top floor of the department store. Actually, originally, I had intended on getting 4 numbers today, because Faulkner's number can be obtained on Mondays and Tuesdays at any time. However, he's all the way out in Celadon City, which we haven't visited yet, so this is going to have to wait a little longer. Now, Whitney can be found here, I think, any day from noon to 4 p.m. So, let's go talk to her. She's right there, and grab her number. What a coincidence. This must be meant to be. What's a coincidence? We aren't gonna know what's a coincidence, right? Oh well, at least we got her phone number. I'm available around noon on Saturdays. Give me a call when you got time. Okay, so, by the way, something that I was completely forgetting to mention is that, well, as you just saw, Jasmine came back into existence, following me beating the Elite Four. Someone even joked about that, saying, "Oh, that's where Jasmine's been all this time. She was in the credits." So, yeah, she reappeared. Even if you use that cheat that I used, she's gonna reappear, after the Elite Four has been beaten. She's going to be at her gym, too. Last number for today. It's going to be all the way over in Ekritique City. As you might imagine, once again, this is Morty, who's hanging out near the bell tower. And actually, we haven't gone into the area of the bell tower at all. You can actually get there if you have the Aqua badge by talking to this guy over there. I see, that's the Aqua gym badge. Badge alone will not do any good. That's right, because we're going to need the rainbow wing in order to climb the tower, and we don't have that yet. Anyway, when you go up these stairs, you end up in the Bell Chime Trail, which looks absolutely gorgeous for a Generation 4 game. And he wasn't chosen by who, apparently? Boo-hoo! Well, of course you don't have the rainbow wing. Okay, so I was wondering if he'd monologue like that endlessly, or if he was just gonna, move on and give me his phone number. Okay, give me a call on Tuesday night. Yeah, so we can call him on Tuesday nights to arrange a rematch. Let's head into the bell tower. I know you can't go very far in it, but I just want to show the first floor to you guys, since if you try to go any higher, this guy's going to tell you can't move on until you have the rainbow wing. Okay, so who was at the top of the tower? At this point in hard gold, you would have already obtained it, but on the other hand, Lugia would be the one that you need to get the wing for in Pewter City. So I think we're pretty much done here. This guy there is basically the equivalent of the guy who only moves over when you got the silver wing and you beat the kimono girls in the Whirl Island. The guy that I showed you when I was going on my way to catch Lugia. So anyway, now we have all 3 phone numbers that we wanted to get for today. So we are ready to re-embark on the SS Aqua for the 3rd and final time. After that, there are going to be no trainers left to fight there, and as I said, in hard gold and soul silver, you cannot rematch them. And have you noticed? We're always the last passengers. Always. Of course, this is an excuse for me not to wait after I'm in the boat, so that you wouldn't wait for the boat to depart. And okay, there are a few trainers there. So yeah, what I wanted to talk about today, it's not directly related to what I was talking about yesterday. It's sort of connected, but at the same time, not really. It's about, the prospects for future LPs, and we're playing that game again, aren't we? At least, missed? Well, I shouldn't be surprised, but at least I had like 75% accuracy after one sand attack, and missed again! And now it's switching? What the? Oh, Tangela. I'm not gonna be taking any chances. I'm gonna recall Pupitar if you don't mind, because goddamn, I'm gonna get my ass kicked if I get Grass move connected on Pupitar. And probably would happen, because knowing my luck, I'd probably miss again. But yeah, what I meant to talk about was that I've read recently, I've done some research to see if it would be possible to emulate the 3DS in a near future, and apparently the prospects aren't looking so good. There are people that are saying it's even flat out impossible to emulate because of stuff like the 3D feature, the fact that the hardware is considerably different from what the Game Boy Advance and the DS use. I've been told that the Game Boy Advance and the DS sort of had the same hardware architecture, so to speak, but the main difference was that it had an extra screen. But for the 3DS, apparently it's entirely different, which apparently makes things much harder when it comes to emulation. And as a result, well, we all know that the Pokémon franchise is going to move on to the 3DS at some point. If it's not for the black and white deluxe version, it's going to be in time for Generation 6. Speaking of which, I was in a pretty intense debate about how the deluxe version would be on DS or on 3DS or maybe even on both. And personally, I think it goes down to, whether it would be easy to implement the 3D aspect on a game that you would have otherwise copy-pasted from the DS. And, maybe the copy-pasting process itself would be rather difficult because, as I said, there's the whole hardware difference thing. I'm no expert on that. I'll freely admit it. It's my brother who got all the computing genes in the family, and he left me with nothing. So maybe I should ask him first, but it depends on certain factors, because the entire point of doing a deluxe version is to make as much of an extra buck as possible for as low a cost as possible. If you remember, Crystal, Emerald, Platinum, they all looked mostly identical to the two basic versions. And as a result, I think we can expect the same thing for this deluxe version, except for the fact that now the game would be projected to not be on the most recent handheld, which would be a first in the history of Pokemon, as far as I know. Well, the main series, I know that the spin-offs have stayed behind on certain systems, such as, for example, Mystery Dungeon 1. It had both a Game Boy Advance and a DS release, because it was made with the Game Boy Advance in mind, and they also made a DS version with touchscreen functionality. I'm wondering if this is something that we could potentially see for the Black and White Deluxe version, because no matter how you slice it, the Black and White Deluxe version is going to look like a DS game, and it's going to sound like a DS game. There's no way they're going to remake the graphics and sound in their entirety, especially considering, as I said, you want to minimize the cost when doing these deluxe versions, and you want to really keep your eggs in the same basket as far as graphical and sound enhancement goes, and that would be Generation 6. And apparently I've been rambling on about that for a few minutes, even though I didn't really intend to drag on the subject. What I wanted to say is that if, as I said earlier, the 3DS is so hard to emulate that it's going to take years and years to make a working emulator, and the deluxe version turns out to be a 3DS only title, which would surprise me, because, as I said, it's going to look and sound like a DS game, no matter what. Even if they add the 3D functionality, it wouldn't be too complicated for them to just make a DS version as well. I mean, the game was already designed with the DS in mind. They would just add a 3D feature, but then again, that's all in the realm of speculation. But let's assume for an instant that the deluxe version only comes out on 3DS. I would be pretty much screwed when it comes to my LPing plans, because it's been... I've never made it a secret that I don't want to LP Black and White. I want to hold out for the deluxe version. However, if it's on a system that can't be emulated for another couple years, this is going to cause me to review my plans. I'm not saying that I would end up LPing Black or White right away. I would probably wait out and see how things turn out. But yeah, it's just to tell you guys that if that situation occurs, I think my Pokemon LPing hiatus may last a little longer than I originally intended. But I'm not too worried about that quite yet, because if push comes to shove, I still think that it could potentially get the same treatment as a Mystery Dungeon 1 and Twilight Princess. You'd have the basic DS version that doesn't have 3D, and the 3DS version that would have 3D. Of course, it all depends on how easy it would be to do it. If it takes too much time, effort, and money, they're not going to do it. So, we're done. We're about done for today. I'm gonna take my leave of you now. So next time on Pokemon Soul Silver, we're going to complete the SS Aqua for good.